of cell phones because they interfere with our sound system. And that being done, let's take a long, deep breath. We have gathered today to worship, to feel the joy and the life that God is, that each of us is. And our most fervent prayer this morning is that the divine may open our minds and hearts fully so that we may experience more fully and so that we may see the wonder, the beauty, and the grace within every person here with us this morning. And let us rejoice and fully appreciate that when those gathered look upon us, they are indeed seeing the wonder, the beauty, and the grace that God is flowing through each of us. Amen. Amen. And let us continue, please, by saying the Lord's Prayer as translated directly from the Aramaic. Together.
Father, Mother, Birther, and Breath of all, create a space inside of us and fill it with your presence. Let oneness now prevail. Your one desire then flows through ours as energy fills all form. Give us this day our physical and spiritual nourishment, and untangle the knots of error that bind us as we release others. Do not let appearances make us forgetful of the source, but free us to act appropriately. From age to age, through you, flow the glorious harmonies of life. May these words be fertile statements through which our future grows. Amen, amen, and amen.
I'm Susan Bowles, the platform assistant today, and at this time, we are going to sing a song. Susan is skipping along too far, I think. And we are going to sing another song. And while we're singing that song, which you may stand for, we're going to pass the Do Unto Others cans. And this is to help people in our very own community who are going through some tough times today. Safely. It is not our regular offering. This little light of mine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
This little light of mine.
And abundant thanks to our musicians led by Dave McComb. And our singers this morning are Maureen, Lori, and Paula over there, I believe. And in our music, still on the piano, we have Brian and Kevin and Tom and Dan. And back there we have Melanie and Danielle, keeping the sound wonderful. And our video, is that what you are, a videographer?
Yeah, that's it.
To our ushers this morning, who are Terry and Paula. And this morning, we are triple blessed because our wonderful Reverend Margaret is going to give the adult message, the children's message, and lead our meditation. So that is our theme. And now it's time for the children's message.
All children, tall and less tall, come on up here so I'm not by myself. A little happier, guys. Hi, everybody. We've got a big team here today. Let's scoot up here and let's talk about this picture on the altar. Who wants to walk over here to the altar and tell me whose picture's on here? We've got EJ and Easton and Bo and Henry and Delaney. And who's our other teacher, Bo? You going down there today? We love our volunteer teachers, don't we? Get up and come over here and tell me whose picture's on the altar. Come on, this is the altar, and there's a picture on it.
Jesus.
Very good. And what's Jesus doing?
He's happy.
He's happy. And you know what? That is one of the best things about what Jesus taught us, you know? He taught us to let our light shine and to let our happiness express. Isn't that great? Yeah, that's good news, isn't it? So I have a song to teach this morning, and I've asked you to help me, haven't I? To hold the microphone. Okay. Hold that microphone. You're going to have to hold it like right there. Very good. And if we do really well, we're going to take it on the road. Okay, guys. I want you guys to learn a song, and it kind of goes along with the song that we just sang, This Little Light of Mine. So it has hand movements. And this represents the light, okay? So y'all come on up here. I want you to stand up here and teach the audience how to do this. Y'all stand up here, and you're going to teach the audience how to do this. Come on, here we go. So this is our candle. Everybody do this, right? This represents our candle. So the words are, when there's light in the soul, there's beauty in the person. This represents beauty, okay? So when there's light in the soul, there's beauty in the person. And when there's beauty in the person, there's harmony in the home. See, this makes a little symbol, kind of like a house roof. So we know there's beauty. When there's light in the soul, there's beauty in the person. When there's beauty in the person, there's harmony in the home. Okay? Everybody okay so far? Okay. And when there's harmony in the home, there's order in the nation. This represents order. And then when there's order in the nation, here comes the big finale, there is peace in the world. Okay? And there's a little song that goes with that. Aren't we happy about that? Yeah? Okay. So all of them out there are going to learn this along with us. Okay? You ready? When there's light in the soul, there is beauty in the person. When there's beauty in the person, there is harmony within the home. When there's harmony within the home, there's order in the nation. When there's order in the nation, there is peace in the world. Peace in the world. Now you're going to get to do it. I could tell you wanted to do those hand movements, didn't you? So we're going to do that one more time. This is one of the biggest things that Jesus taught about. He taught about letting our light bring peace to the world. So this is a big part part of what Jesus taught. Okay. When there's light in the soul, there is beauty in the person. When there's beauty in the person, there is harmony within the home. When there's harmony within the home, there's order in the nation. When there's order in the nation, there is peace in the world. Peace in the world. Isn't that good? Part of what brings peace to the world is when we bless one another. And you can do that all the time. The way you look at people, the way you speak with people, you can bring peace to the world. So we're going to bless all of these people out here, and they're going to bless you back. Remember how we do that? We hold our hands out like this, because we can send blessings of healing through our hands and our eyes and our hearts and our words, okay? We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, we behold the Christ in you, and we love you just the way you are. That's the truth. And y'all have a great time. Thanks for singing with me and helping me to do that lesson. Because these folks out here, they need to hear that. We all the kids know it. We're just still learning. Okay, we've got a special announcement. Paula's going to come up here. We've got our second annual Unity Vision Golf Classic, and she's running up here. She's so excited.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm here in place of Kate, so make believe on. And Kate wanted me to ask if we have any golfers in the room. Do we have any golfers in the room? Any golfers? Would you mind standing up if you're a golfer in the room? Come on. Come on, golfers, let's go.
This is Myrtle Beach after all.
Present for you this morning. Here we go. There's a present. Here we go. Well, maybe you might want to be after you see that. And let's see where is it? Okay. Anybody else a golfer? Okay. We need, who else?
Daryl.
Daryl. Oh, Daryl. Hold your hand up. No other golfers?
Okay, I'll hand them out while you...
Okay, anyway, what Kate wanted me to do, any golfers over here? No? No? See, we're going to have our second annual Golf Classic on September 28th at Legends Golf Course. And we are soliciting your help with this. And we would like everyone who knows a golfer. Anybody know a golfer?
Yeah.
How many know a golfer? I should have said that. Okay. Well, we can give these people that know a golfer. Here we go.
So, okay.
And then what we're going to do is ask you to please make a commitment to get a team together for us. Will that work? Yes? 4 players in a team. Because we would like this to be the most successful golf tournament this year, more successful than last year, which was a whole lot of fun. And so we're inviting everyone, even if you don't play a lot of golf. It's a fun day, there'll be prizes, we'll have dinner afterwards, and we'll have a great time, and we'll help Unity Christ Church do what it does. And Jerry?
Let me
Here,
just
give me the mic, please.
No, I think you can hear me.
No, actually, we need the mic.
The boss has spoken.
All right, Paul is right. A team is 4 people, but you don't have to solicit 4 people if you don't know 4 people to play. If you find 1 or 2, we'll find 1 or 2 more, and we'll put them together and we'll make up teams. So it starts with 1 person. If you can get 1 and get that person to get 1, it will grow and expand. Last year we had 44 players. If we could get 60 players this year, it would be a great increase. We had a great time. We raised about $5,000 or $6,000 for the church. We can do better than that, but it's going to take everybody in this congregation to work at it to help us out, because the committee just can't do it all by ourselves.
Thank you, Jerry.
Jerry is 100% right. It takes just one little bit of help from every person in here to help us make this really awesome. Yes, Jim?
When and where is it?
It is
Up on the screen.
September 28th.
I can't read it. Okay.
September 28th. We tried to hide the date. I don't know why. And it's at Legends Golf Course, Heathlands, which is the friendly course. And we'll have a blast. We'll have a blast. So please help us out. If you're interested, see me afterwards. I'll take names and we'll have little duties. Not a lot, just a little. Everybody rolled up, makes a huge, terrific event. Yes, Lori?
I don't want to take time, but I do want to say just two things. I know a lot of you didn't raise your hands, and I didn't raise mine, but I want to tell you, we played last year, 4 women on our team, and we came in second last. But the last place team got prizes. So if you're not a golfer, this is not so serious, really. If you're just a mezza golfer, go and play, because nobody's judging you, and it's a shotgun start and it's captain's choice, which means you just play the best ball. So you don't have to play that well. So don't be shy.
And you'll have lots of friends around you. So, amen. Oops, Carolyn.
Another thing is that you may not golf, you may not even know golfers. Can you imagine that? But we still have room to help for you to help us volunteer on the day of or the day before. So whatever it is you can do, we would appreciate you doing. Because again, it ends up falling to 5 or 6 people. We have more roles, and we are unity, united. So we look forward to all of you helping us out. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you. Margaret wants me to hurry up, so here you go, Margaret.
Well, fabulous project. Last year I rode the golf cart, and I did not get a prize, and I just want to know. So if you want a cup holder, they're over here in this box. Take one home to your golfer friends. Okay, Sunday, August 4th. Mark your calendars. You've been asking for Susan to come and give us the information that she gleaned from her trip to India. So that will happen Sunday, August 4th. She'll do the service and an afternoon presentation. So please mark your calendar. Our Unity Conference is coming up at Canoga Retreat Center up near Asheville, September 10th through 13th. The flyers are downstairs, and also the entire schedule is posted on the fellowship bulletin board. And our next board meeting is Monday, August 12th, 5:30. It's a potluck. Everyone's invited to come and offer your expertise, your creativity, and your supportive prayer. And that's it for now.
Thank you. And now I have the opportunity to say brief words about unity. You've heard me say before, my favorite thing about Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity with his wife, Myrtle, is that my favorite story about him is one day he was having one of his classes and a lady stood up and said, I'm going to read something to you and I would like to know if you feel that that is the truth. And so she read it. And Charles Fillmore looked at her and said, no, that is not my truth today. And she looked at it aghast and she said, it's not. These are the notes I copied down from the last time we got together. All right, so Charles Fillmore reserved the right to change his mind. Today I want to talk about flow. Unity, blessedly, is in the flow of the stream of rising consciousness in the United States, in the whole wide world. Unity is open to consider what is flowing through. And blessedly, in unity, we are free to examine it and accept it, or we are just as free to examine it and say, don't think so. But what I love about unity is its openness. And now, let us say together, Unity's statement of purpose. Together, I am the consciousness of Unity Christ Church, a unified board and congregation, nurturing spiritual growth,
inspiring creativity, sharing time, talents, treasures, and expanding awareness of divine oneness.
A warm welcome to all of you this morning, and some of you are here for the first time, and we would love it if you're comfortable doing so, if you would stand up and tell us your name and where you're from. And the ushers will bring you a visitor packet, if you're brave enough to do that. Yes?
Good morning, I'm Joyce, and I came in to your potluck picture, and I'm very happy.
Welcome.
Thank you, Joyce. Yes?
I don't know if we need a microphone, but I'm Paige Stapleton.
I'm Brian Starkey.
And we live in Pawleys Island, and so we're here for the first time, and we're really excited about it.
Welcome.
Yes.
Reverend James Smith, I'm known around the world as the Bone Crusher.
All right, Bone
Former heavyweight champion boxing of the world. And I see Kate all the time. We live in the same community, and we're walking, and she invited me to church. And so I'm here, and I would like to talk to the pastor. I'm a golfer.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of golfers, and I host a golf tournament every year. This year we're going to do it on Father's Day. When I look around, I see the absence of a lot of the fathers of AWOL. So we want to give special recognition to fathers and try to get them back involved in the lives of their children. And I've invited my grown daughters to come and be with me in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you.
We all agree we want to keep Bone Crusher happy.
He ain't so big.
Yes.
I'm sorry, yes?
Yes, so this is my granddaughter Emily and her mother Laura and Laura's fiance Adam, and they've been here. This is Adam's first time. These guys have been here.
And we hope that always, when you enter these doors, you feel that you are entering a heart that has already been prepared for you. Please come back as often as you can. Now I'm going to read from Unity's oldest publication, The Daily Word. The word today is pathways. My heart leads me to my right path. Let's say that together. My heart leads me to my right path. I will travel many pathways during my lifetime. Some may take me only a short distance. Others I will travel for years. On my journey, I will have countless opportunities to choose one path over another. Poet Robert Frost wrote, "Two roads diverged in a yellow wood. I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference." And I have a feeling that that is the story of everyone in this room. The path I choose does make a difference, so I consider it carefully. While I may listen to the advice of friends, loved ones, or leaders, my truest sense of direction comes from within. At the core of my being is a well of divine wisdom and divine inspiration. Before making a choice, I listen to my heart. God in me always leads me to right choices on my unfolding journey. And from Psalm 121, verse 8. The Lord will keep your going out and your coming in from this time on and forevermore. Let's take a long deep breath, and from our heart, let us say the affirmation together one more time. My heart leads me to my right path. And so it is. And now we're going to sing a song, Love is My Decision. Reverend Margaret, and you see how attuned we are. We wore the same color this morning. Reverend Margaret.
I just want to tell you, this is going to be the new uniform here. I'm ordering a dozen of these, so get ready. Okay, we're going to start with a video. So can we lower the lights a little bit, and let's see if this is going to work, because Javier's not here and he's the master of the PowerPoint. We ready?
Mi nombre es Ada Maribel Ríos Bogado, tengo 13 años y toco el violín.
Me llamo Juan Manuel Chávez, más conocido como Eddie, tengo 19 años y toco el cello. Este cello está hecho de una lata de aceite, la madera tirada en la basura y las clavijas son de una vieja cuchara para golpear la carne y para hacer ñoquis. Y suena así. para tener un violín. De hecho, un violín cuesta más que su casa.
En ese grupo acá mismo encontramos escuela de violín. Y de ese empezamos con el reciclado. La familia que acá vive recicla todo lo que hay en la basura y se vende.
No pensaba antes que yo voy a hacer esa instrumento. Y me siento demasiado feliz cuando estoy viendo a un niño que está tocando un violín reciclado.
Cuando yo escucho el sonido del violín, siento como mariposas en el estómago, así una sensación, no sé cómo voy a explicar.
La orquesta de instrumentos reciclados es una orquesta que toca instrumentos hechos con la basura.
1, 2, 3.
Mi vida sería, sin la música, estaría de por ahí.
La gente se da cuenta que no tenemos que tirar la basura muy fácilmente. No tenemos que desechar a las personas muy fácilmente.
For bringing my attention to that story in that video. And I hope you could read the subtitles, but essentially the story is this community lives at a landfill, and they go through the trash and they find things that they can recycle and sell to help make money for their families, and they began to create instruments out of the trash. And now they have this recycled orchestra, and you can actually go on Facebook and contribute because they are traveling to let people know that not all trash needs to be thrown away. And if you saw the ending subtitle said, and we shouldn't throw people away. So these people are living in a way that they may be discounted by some folks. They live in a landfill. So their lives may be lives that we might discount in some way in our thinking. And this to me is an incredible example of the religion of Jesus, which is what we're talking about today. If I had to put at the top of the list of what Jesus taught about, he certainly taught about never throw people away. That all of us can be recycled. And if you can make a cello or a violin out of an oil can and forks, you can have a recycled life and a recycled attitude and a recycled sense of self-worth, right? Because all of us in this room, I don't even have to ask for a show of hands, all of us in this room from time to time have felt less than being the light of the world and less than magnificent. Am I right? Mm-hmm. So we can recycle our thoughts, we can recycle our feelings about ourselves and the world, and we can recycle our attitudes about one another, about the world. No one deserves to be discounted or thrown away. And that is at the core of the religion of this man that we know as Jesus. So let's talk about that. It is said that the only sermon that has been recorded that Jesus gave is called the Sermon on the Mount. And so, and we don't know for sure, but there is an idea that Jesus actually had a manuscript for this sermon because it was so well put together. I don't know. And there's an idea, Dr. George Lomzo, before we had Rocco Errico, before we had Dale Allen Hoffman, the primo Aramaic scholar was Dr. George Lomzo. And he actually created the whole Lomzo Bible, which is the Aramaic translation. And so he thinks that there was a manuscript and that after this Sermon on the Mount that it was given to Matthew, because the book of Matthew recounts the Sermon on the Mount so specifically and clearly. The other writers allude to it, have little references to it. We don't know. But it seems to be one of the clearest summations of what Jesus was teaching about. And the word Beatitudes are the Beatitudes. The attitudes that we want if we want to express ourselves as the changes we want to see in the world. So we are going to have this quote now from Sermon on the Mount. This is the book of Matthew. And seeing the multitudes, he went up into a mountain. And when he was ready, his disciples came to him, and he taught them. And we're told 5,000 in one part of the scripture. So can you imagine without a microphone? I don't know how they did that. Maybe they had little runners who ran back and forth to tell people what he was saying. I don't know how they did that. But metaphysically, the term high mountain, when Jesus went up into the high mountain, he did what? There aren't any really, really high mountains there. So what does that mean? That he went up into his highest consciousness. He went up into his clearest perspective, his clearest God wisdom. He went up into the high mountains. And we also talk about that as being the place of the Most High. So when you and I are expressing from our highest consciousness, we might say that we have gone up into the high mountains. And the sermon starts out very clearly by not doing something that had been done in the religion that Jesus was born into. The religion that Jesus was born into had hundreds of laws that told us what we did want to do and what we didn't want to do. You might be familiar with the Ten Commandments. And they all start out with, thou shalt not. A hallmark of the teachings of Jesus is that he started out each statement in the Beatitudes with, blessed are you. And so the word blessed, already he was teaching a religion that was about transforming our thinking. Because the religion that he was coming to pump some new life into was about conforming to rules and regulations. And I used to know an old Pentecostal minister who would say all the time, you cannot legislate righteousness. You cannot legislate right thinking. You cannot tell somebody, you will be loving. You will forgive. Does that work? Not usually. So Jesus came promoting a religion that was transforming. And he showed us a way of being, a way of thinking, some attitudes that we could live with that would perhaps help to create peace in the world and do something that he felt very strongly about. Bring the kingdom of heaven consciousness onto the planet. Now, the kingdom of heaven consciousness is something we're programmed for. It's in our DNA. We are scheduled to be waking up any second. And the kingdom of heaven consciousness is what we want to express in the world. It's another way to talk about the highest form of consciousness, a state of mind. So the word blessed means to confer prosperity upon. When you say to one another, blessings. Many of us sign our emails, blessings. When we say to one another, bless you, or bless your family, bless your grandchildren, bless your life. We are conferring upon one another an expansive potential of what's possible for us. We speak to one another's wholeness. We speak to one another's potential. And the word blessing is an expansive energy. The term thou shalt not does what?
Contracts.
It closes down the energy. Thou shalt not. Right away we go, ugh. Thou shalt not. But Jesus did. He chose to do it another way. It had already been done, the thou shalt not way, for a long, long time. He chose to do it another way. He said, blessed are you. Right? Turn to somebody and say, blessed are you.
Blessed are you.
See, you're talking King James English now. Blessed are you.
Blessed are you.
So, we've started this class on Tuesday nights. And some of us are taking the class for credit, and you know that you're there at every class. Some of you haven't been to the class yet. You're welcome to still come to the class. Even if you didn't begin the class all at the same time, you're still welcome to come. And this Tuesday night, we're going to have class presentations on the Beatitudes. There will be small groups, each one presenting on a different beatitude. So if you want to learn more about the Beatitudes, then you're welcome to come to the class this Tuesday night. You might decide you want to keep coming back. We're working with this book, The Power Within You, by Eric Butterworth, one of Unity's most well-known teachers. So this morning I just want to focus on 2 of the Beatitudes. I thought about doing all 8, but I tend to go over anyway, and that could have been a problem. So, we're looking at these 2. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And number 7, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. So, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Heaven comes from a Greek word meaning what? Expanding. Did you know that? It's interesting, isn't it? When we talk about hell, what happens to the energy? When we talk about heaven, it's expansive. Now, in Unity, we don't teach that these are geographical locations, heaven and hell. We teach that these are states of consciousness, states of mind. How many of you feel like with your thoughts or your beliefs or your attitudes that you have put yourself in hell from time to time? Or perhaps put someone else there? And how many of us can create heaven in our thoughts and our hearts and our minds? And we can help create heaven for the people around us, right? So that's what we teach in Unity. Now, Jesus' religion, if you had to sum it up, was about teaching about the expansive potential within you. Remember last Sunday we said the religion of Jesus is you-centered. Now what our traditional Christian organizations and churches did, they made it Jesus-centered. And New Thought is taking a closer look at the teachings of Jesus, and it does appear as if Jesus didn't come on the scene wanting you so much to talk about him all the time, but he wanted you and me to look at the expansive potential in each one of us. He kept telling us, your faith has made you whole. He said that your faith has made you whole. And he also said, for those who believe, you're going to do all the things I did and greater. He came talking about you and me to shine this expansive consciousness, this heaven consciousness in the world, so that we can have peace of mind and heart and peace on the planet. And usually there's somebody in the audience who's thinking, well, there's never been peace on the planet, there probably never will be. We're going to allow you to stay because all of us get to shift that attitude and that belief just because something's never happened before, does it mean it never will?
Nope.
No! Okay. So far, so good. So blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Here's how Eric Butterworth translates that. Blessed are those willing to empty themselves of personal pride and willfulness, and to have the willingness to surrender to that higher awareness and to what? Inner revelation. Now, let's all take a deep breath. Are you telling me that Jesus was alluding to the idea that you and I might have personal revelation?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there only one book of Revelation?
Nope.
Are you telling me that Jesus came on the scene inviting us to have our own personal experience with the one presence, the one power? He called that one power Father. Mm-hmm. And he said, I am one with that presence. And he came on the scene inviting us to open to our own personal revelation and to have our own sense of oneness with the one presence, Father, Mother, the one divine presence, known by many names. How are we doing so far? Which means that we are invited to be in personal relationship with that presence at all times, so that it's actually possible for me to have every thought and every word and every action come from the high mountain, the highest consciousness. As you might guess, I'm not doing it 100% of the time. That's actually why I'm here with you. The more I teach it, the more I get it. It's a great job. So blessed are those who are willing to empty themselves of pride. How many of us have from time to time felt like we knew everything we needed to know about an idea, an issue, a circumstance? You don't need to tell me. I know this. You know, I have a 9-year-old granddaughter who's already telling me, oh, I know that. How many of us are willing to move into the freedom of surrender?
Mm.
What a blessed day it was when I learned to say, I don't know.
Amen.
I don't know. I lived a lot of my life feeling like I had to have all the answers, especially as a teacher. And I remember the seminar at my healing center back in the early 90s, for the first time, when somebody asked a question, and instead of telling them my answer or making something up on the spot, I said, I don't know. What does your wisdom say? It was the most freeing moment.
Really?
To surrender what I think I know intellectually, to surrender what I think is the right answer from the Bible or the sacred scriptures or from what a teacher told me, and to surrender to personal revelation, to give Spirit time and space to move around in my heart and mind and enlighten me to the truth. So, in page 59, for those of you who are following along in your Bible, can you hold this more, please? I'm not wearing my headset this morning because I don't have a pocket. Okay, Eric Butterworth says this. Blessed are they who can let go of the attempt to understand intellectually, who accept the deep things of spirit as a little child. Blessed are they who are teachable, open-minded, receptive to the truth, willing to renounce preconceived opinions and prejudices and entertain a new concept of life. Shall I give her a mic? So blessed are we who are teachable. For those of you who know Edwene Gaines, she's a prosperity teacher in the Unity Movement. She often says, you will have all of these divine laws work for you, including the law of prosperity, if you are teachable. How many of you know yourselves to be teachable? It's a fabulous, fabulous way to live in the world, to know that life will bring us many teachers and many mentors in many forms. Some of them you will love and adore.
And the other ones you'll marry.
And some of them, on hindsight, in those wise moments, wow, that issue, that circumstance, that person was one of my greatest teachers. But it took me a while to get it. One of my teachers was my former husband. And in the first few years after that relationship was, I would say after the marriage was over, because we will always be connected. We share an incredible part of our journey together. And I was lamenting to my friend in Santa Barbara. Actually, I was weeping and wailing and gnashing my teeth. And I was telling the story again about how he done me wrong. Right? And she had heard this story, oh, I don't know, 50 or 60 times. And she said something to me that snapped me out of it. She said, and you, my dear, are beyond reproach. And I got it. Don't we all help contribute to the picture of what's happening? Don't we all help contribute to the confusion or the heartbreak or the joy or the wonder? Hey, we're all co-creating this together. So I was able to practice this beatitude. Beatitude number 1, blessed are they who are poor and who don't have a whole lot of pride and willfulness, because theirs will be the kingdom of heaven. They will be able to go up to that highest consciousness and see more clearly and sense more clearly and feel more clearly what's happening. And in that place, I was able to forgive not only former husband, but myself. Great moment. In another part of my journey, I was practicing this beatitude. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And I thought that I understood pretty much all I needed to know at that point, right? I was in ministry, I was a teacher, everything's going well, I got it figured out, right? And I had a dream. It was one of my few experiences with Mother Mary. As you know, I was not raised Catholic, but I've had the wonderful grace and blessing of having some personal experiences with Mother Mary. Well, she came to me in a dream. One of those, you know, it's a dream, but it's not a dream. Mm-hmm. And we were having tea together. Earl Grey, I think. We were having tea together in this dream. And she leans across the table and she looks at me and she says, have you considered my son Jesus? And my first thought was, well, yeah. I mean, I'm in ministry, aren't I? I'm a former Southern Baptist and Pentecostal, aren't I? I read her my list of certifications. You know, I answered the altar call 3 times. I was baptized 3 times. I am, after all, a minister, and yeah, I considered your son Jesus. And you know what she said? have you considered my son Jesus? And in the dream, I had the feeling that there was more for me to know. I did not actually have it all figured out. I had to release my willfulness and my pride, thinking I had this being, Jesus, all figured out. I mean, I knew the scriptures. Hey, I was Southern Baptist. We're raised on memorizing scripture. I have at least 4 or 5 Bibles, memorizing scripture. I thought I had it all figured out. Have you ever had that feeling in your life?
No, not me.
I had it all figured out. And in that dream, I was invited to know that there was something more for me to know. Not just about the man who expressed divinity, and about what he was really saying. And so I've been learning that ever since. And one of the biggest things that Jesus was saying, one of the biggest things about his religion, because whether he meant to or not, what grew out of his teachings is a religion. And for better or worse, religions take the essence, the holy core of the great teachings, and they oftentimes do something with them that rather than take us into heaven consciousness, take us into another kind of consciousness. So Jesus said, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God." Let's take a deep breath. We all got up this morning, we looked in the mirror, and we said, what? I am the light of the world. Fabulous. Well, do we need to keep eating? We've got it now. Peace comes when we are receptive to it. We look in the mirror. Oftentimes, the first thing we say is, "Oh God."
It's a prayer.
And what we're invited to feel instead of that is, "Oh, God living in me, expressing as me. I'm a peacemaker. I'm a child of God. Blessed are the peacemakers." Peace comes when we are receptive to it. Often in our lives, we close down to peace, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
We're upset about something. Now, it doesn't mean that we don't see things in the world that yearn to be shifted or changed or transformed. We will have anger. Let it work for us rather than paralyze us, right? But when we are receptive to the peace, when's it most important to be receptive to peace? When we're in the middle of something that feels unlike peace. We take a deep breath. We pause. We allow Spirit to move in us. We go to the high mountain. We go to the highest consciousness. We're receptive to peace in that moment. The self-realization that we are spiritual beings, we become peacemakers in the process of expressing peace. There is a self-realization that happens. This is what Yogananda talked about. There is a self-realization that when we realize, we bring it into the reality of our beingness, that we are the kingdom of heaven expressing as human beings. That's the potential that we have. And we become peacemakers when we express peace. Ooh, that's tricky. Let's see. If when I feel love, then I can express love. Or when I feel peace, then I can express peace. But how many of us have been called to express peace even when we don't feel it? Come on, people. Hands need to be. So, I was at a Harvard conference, and the idea was, how do we teach compassion to medical doctors? And we broke up into small groups, and we're having creative sessions. And we're trying to figure out, how do you teach compassion to medical doctors especially the young docs that are coming out. Now the nurses, they've got it. Right, Sonia? The nurses have compassion. But for the medical doctors, sometimes that something happens and we need to teach them compassion. So how would you do that?
Let them have an operation.
Let them have an operation. Yes, let them have an operation. Well, there was another idea that came out. And the idea was offered by an LA acting coach. And he stood at the microphone to these 1,000 folks and said, give them acting lessons. So what happens, do we have any actors in here? Well, I know we're all actors, but officially actors? Okay, yes, so you know. The idea is when you act as if, when you express an emotion in acting, that often the actor will begin to feel the genuine emotion. So this is the same idea up on the PowerPoint right now. When we want to be a presence of peace, then we are invited to express peace. Even and most especially in the moments when it's the hardest to do. When are peacemakers most needed?
In turmoil.
When there's a lack of peace. So in the old days, in the Holy Land, there were a group of learned men. I don't remember reading that there were women there, but we know they were whispering to the men what to do. There was a group of learned men who sat at the gates of the city, and people would bring their conflicts to them, their disagreements. And these men, these judges, would give insight and wisdom of the action that could be taken to bring harmony where there had been discord. And this group of men were called the sons of God. So when Jesus made this statement, you could understand it on two different levels. You're going to be called a son of God because you'll be the one to bring harmony where there's discord, and maybe you'll sit at the city gates and do that. But on a higher level, in the high mountain consciousness level, you will be called the sons of God because in that highest consciousness, you bring to the world an expression of peace that helps to transform humankind rather than bring down humankind. So, Butterworth suggests this, that if we are the daughters and sons of God, and if we are the offspring of the Most High, then we need to affirm for ourselves that we are divine in potential. How many of us look in the mirror each morning and allow ourselves to see into the eyes of God and know the highest potential lives within us? Well, if not, would you be willing to practice this week? You know, the highest consciousness, that potential lives within me. So we make a commitment each morning. Instead of looking in the mirror and saying, oh, God, we say, oh, God, presence in me. So affirm for yourself. Let's all read this together. And in a minute, we're going to sing a song and go into meditation, and we're going to do this a little bit more. I am a spiritual being with the potential for peace and harmony and overcoming within me at all times. I am a radiating center of divine light, life, and wisdom. When we go into meditation in a few moments, I'm going to ask you to let yourself be not only thinking intellectually about this idea, but allow yourself to feel the truth of this idea. I am a spiritual being with the potential for peace and harmony and overcoming within me at all times. So, when you go to talk with the IRS people, or when you go to renegotiate the interest on your mortgage, or when you go to have a phone call or a meeting with former spouse, lover, friend, boss, or when you get a letter from an old friend telling you what they've been angry about for the last 30 years. And it's before you write the letter back, you know, telling your side of the story, you remember, I am a spiritual being with the potential for peace and harmony and overcoming within me, not just 5 minutes a year, not just a few seconds of the day. That potential is within me at all times. Why? Because I'm a radiating center of divine light, life, and wisdom. Now, you may not be feeling that that's 100% true right now, but I'm telling you, the more we say these things to ourselves and one another, the more we start expressing it, even when we're not fully feeling it, and then before long, we begin to feel it, and it feels authentic, and we realize this is who we are. We might have to give ourselves acting lessons, but that's okay. It's okay to express peace, even when we're not fully 100% feeling it. We better start expressing it. We better not wait till we feel it 100% before we express it. Take the little bit, take the 1% and express that, and that 1% grows. Does this make sense to you? It's called divine mathematics. Okay, we're going to go into meditation, we're going to sing a song, and we're going to lower the lights and allow this song to seep into every cell and atom of your being. Many of us say this prayer of serenity often. In our own hearts right now, we say, God grant me serenity. God grant me courage. God grant me wisdom, that I may live in peace. This prayer was certainly written out of the highest mountain consciousness. This prayer speaks to the wisdom and the peace and the courage that is a part of who we are already. We cover these divine powers, these divine aspects of ourselves. We cover them up with layers of fear or pride. But these qualities live within us at all times. This is the light of the world. These qualities. Let's take a deep breath. This is what Butterworth invited us to know. The peace that we desire and need in the world is that peace which passeth all understanding. It cannot come by treaties or agreements, or by wars and boundary lines and walls. Peace can only come when humankind becomes receptive to peace, and when humankind becomes peacemakers in the process of expressing it even before it's fully manifest. As we take another deep breath and go into a few moments of silence, I ask you to allow yourself to feel the peace that passes all intellectual understanding. To feel this peace for yourself and for all those beloveds that you're holding in your hearts and holding in prayer right now. All world leaders, all nations and villages, all places of worship all across this planet. Call forth the peace that passes all understanding to be established in our lives and the lives of all those we're thinking of, the lives of all world leaders, all governments, all corporations. And this is the time to speak out loud the names of those that you're holding in prayer, if that feels comfortable for you. Michael, Edna, Jody Beth, Emily, Sarah, all those who've written in for prayer. We call forth peace. We call forth healing. We call forth wholeness. We call forth that divine high consciousness within each one of us to express more and more into our lives and into the world. We bless, again, all world leaders that they have as their highest priority the well-being of all life. That all corporate leaders have as their highest priority the well-being of all life. The fields of education and politics, banking, medicine, highest priority, the well-being of all life. We are the peacemakers. We have the capacity to be that which we want to see in the world. And we say, so it is, and so we let it be. Namaste. Namaste.
Thank you, Reverend Margaret, for giving us a fresh, new perspective of words that probably we've heard time and time again, and not been nearly so uplifted by as we were this morning. So thank you. And I feel that your talk was a reminder, relative to the opening prayer, that we look around each other and look at each other, seeing the wonder, the beauty, and the grace within within each one. Sometimes it's easier to see it in others than it is ourselves. So, a good assignment. And now I invite you to take your love offerings into your hands. And we have a blessing that includes a mudra. And as we lift our hands, let us feel the truth of these words together. I am light flowing through me, blessing these gifts to radiate peace. Amen.
You can play the game, you can back up and hop, though you know it wasn't written for you. Tell me how did you stand there with your broken heart, ashamed of playing the fool. One thing leads to another, it doesn't take any sacrifice.
Yoga Monday nights and Thursday. Then we've got Course in Miracles on Thursday night. And then we have the midweek contemplative service on Wednesdays, 5:30. And right after that, we go into the Peace Chapel for Oneness Blessing. And Oneness Blessing will be offered right after this service. And free books and pamphlets are down in the activities room. Some of the books left over from what Mary Ann Finch donated. And next Sunday, the Forgotten Art of Prayer. And now we have our prayer for protection. We say this for ourselves and all that we're holding in our hearts. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And now our peace song, we sing it like a prayer. Let us go.